The Conceited Nobody. Every Tuesday at 8 p.m.
Hey, what's up? We back one-on-one with the Conceited Nobody. We got a special interview today. You already know who I am. I'm Taurus, a.k.a. I had a new a.k.a. Sorry about dropping my cone. My a.k.a. is a low-key legend. That's the moniker I'm rolling with now, the low-key legend.
Low-key legend.
Yeah, but fortunately, this is not about me today. We here at Rich Harvest Studios with, it's only ways I can title it, with my friend, my brother, and my favorite rapper, Illy Octane. How you doing, man?
What up, man?
If you are familiar with our platform, he's been on there several times, and he'll be on there several more times, but we have the privilege of today of having a special interview, a one-on-one situation, where we're going to just discuss just everyday life, the come up, and where it's all going to. Today is January the 1st, 2020, the new year. How you feeling this new year?
2020. I feel good, man. I can't really think of nothing negative, you know what I mean, going into the new year.
Positive vibes only, as they say.
Positive, yeah.
How you bringing your new year?
I guess kind of reflecting on what I wanted to do for this year, you know what I mean? Not like a whole bunch of like thought of it, you know what I mean? I didn't take a day to reflect or nothing like that, but I did think about it, like what I'm gonna do in 2020, you know what I mean? Or what's coming up for 2020, so.
A progressive thinker, I'll say, thinks year round.
Yeah.
We don't just focus on one particular day. But again, we are at the Rich Harvest Studios where it all goes down. You can see we got the boards, everything about us. We're in the studio, so definitely we'll talk about music along with life. I'm familiar with the story. I knew you since we were small. But for those who aren't familiar with it, can you tell people where you from?
I'm originally from Marion, Indiana. I grew up in Anderson, Indiana. And I've been here since I guess became grown, you know what I mean? But I'm originally from Marion, grew up in Anderson, Indiana, back roads, what I call it.
And by here, he means Indianapolis.
Yeah, Indianapolis.
How would you describe you as a person, not personality-wise, but as far as your talent? Would you consider it, cause I know you do so many things. You record, and then you also an artist. If someone was to ask you, who is Illy as an artist, what would you say?
Me as an artist, I don't have no fear of what I can do with the music. Like, I don't feel like it's a format of what you can create, you know what I mean? That's me as an artist. I don't live like y'all. Somebody helped me think of that acronym, but when it came, I was like, damn, that's perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, when it comes to music, I just want to create it. You know what I mean? I go back and listen to what influenced me, but every time I go in there to do me, it's always to do me. You know what I mean? To create something, to create my name and let other people be like, oh, I can feel that. Oh, I can feel that.
And let's just take it back. Before you became Illy the rap artist, let's take it back to your youth. How old was you when you found out that you wanted to do this music thing?
I'd say probably about maybe 14, 15. I was a fan of Wu-Tang. I was a fan of Wu-Tang because I liked how you could stick together with your youth and still be looked at as like a force, like adults, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They wasn't that much older than me when I looked at them, but then I seen Master P like be able to eat off of it. And like be like, this is my job, you know what I mean? Not only is it my job, I can help the people I know eat off of it. So I'd say probably about 14, 15.
And at 14, 15, when you started, I'm taking it that you wrote your first rhyme around that time?
Yeah.
It's been years.
Yeah.
Damn near almost three decades, not to date us. But do you have any type of memory of what you wrote? Or what's up?
Yes, I probably almost still know the whole verse.
Do you?
I'm probably almost
Can we get about six to 8 bars of it?
All right, bet. I'm a young gun with bad intentions, to Cal mention. Ron Wayne, I left your outfit stained and your blood crimson. Mugs get some. These flows will make your hoes want this one. Your girl will say a whole bag of chips, nigga, then some. I ain't even licensed yet, but I'm off the ripest set. I'm soon to be the nicest vet with the tightest rep. shit like that.
He absolutely knew more than 8 bars to that motherfucking shit.
Right. That was for spring water. Remember spring water?
Hell yeah.
I think
Shout
that
out
was
to Muncie Spring Water.
That was for spring water.
Most dangerous place for Anderson
Right.
teenagers in the early 90s.
All right.
When you wrote that, if you wouldn't have said anything about Wu-Tang, I probably wouldn't have got a Wu-Tang vibe from that. The only thing that kind of meshed with that was the Tikal mention, which was Method Man's first album name. When you spit that, cause now I gotta go back into that time.
Yeah.
Not saying we had people in Anderson who was rapping, but nobody was seemingly concentrating on lyrics or lyricism. I always feel like that not only Anderson, but the Midwest has been an amalgamation of voices. Like we just take the South sound, we take the East sound, or we take the West. It's like it's hard to be distinct. You see it somewhat with the Chicago rappers, Twister, when he came with the tongue twister style.
Yeah.
When you was coming up, did you feel that you was being influenced by these other rappers, like in your sound, or the topics that you talked about when you rap?
I think probably the topics I would have, because like when you look up to the music, or you listening to it and you like it, you know, and you feel like you do the same thing. Like most of the people, I think most of the time when you listen to music, you start getting influenced. The people are older than you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, the topics maybe be like, damn, I wish I could have wrote a verse on that, or damn, I wish I could have got a verse on that. You know what I mean? So as I started being able to create my own music, yeah, some of the topics I create, it would be like me remaking, you know, that song. But and now it's in my, you know, how I would have said it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
At that time outside of Wu-Tang, did you have any other influences? If not, because I know that you come from around rappers, like having cousins and relatives that married in particular. Was there anybody locally, not necessarily related to you, that influenced you at all to rap?
I wouldn't say they influenced me to rap. Anybody locally, I would say I looked at them because I probably already aspired to rap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't say they influenced me to rap, but yeah, like, of course, you know, being from Anderson, Flip G, the Mike Doctors. Well, I remember, I think the Mike Doctors, I was in grade school, you know, 6th grade or something. They came through with coats on with their names on it and shit like that. And it's like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. You know what I mean? Yeah, I can see me doing that. You know what I mean? But
And who was the Mike Doctors?
Chip G.
Okay. Avery and shit.
Avery.
Okay.
And is it Donnie?
Yeah.
It might be Donnie. I might have got his name mixed up. But.
So like a lot of people don't know Anderson. Where we come from, Anderson don't have like a large hip hop history or anything like that. So I know, like I said, I've been there since from the genesis, and you eventually did evolve into a crew.
Yeah.
The 90s famous RTP.
Right.
Was you the only one in the group who rapped?
Mm-mm.
Who else rapped?
Not at all.
And was this the formation of like I don't know exactly how I want to put it, but did you, when you seen the Mike Doctors in their group and their wave, did it lead to you creating the wave that you created? Was that in
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because I felt like everybody got a crew.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So why not have my own crew? You know what I'm saying? So the thing with my crew is I didn't really have to try to form it. We was just kind of already there.
Organic.
Yeah, it was like we was already there. And even with the rap, like, no, I wasn't the only one that rapped. Like my little brother, his homeboys. I think I was the only one that probably rapped that was my age.
Yeah.
I don't think none of they was all like 2 years younger than me, but it was like 4 or 5 of them that rap. You know what I mean? So like all of us could do that, and all of us couldn't do that either. But it still made a crew. You know what I mean? That was a big thing to me. I remember like first starting RTP, like I wrote a whole little
manifesto
laws and this is what we're gonna do on this day. You know what I mean? Because that's what I wanted. I feel like in order to gain power, you gotta have people with you that's on the same thing. So I always thought that's probably one of the first things I felt like was true when I was young. Even with the music, like I felt more confident doing music when I felt like I had a crew. You know what I mean? I felt like not only am I speaking on what I'm saying, it's 7, 8 other people that's like, yeah, we riding with him. You know what I mean? And I'm riding with them back. So yeah.
And like, so So people who go back to hip hop, especially what I consider the grand age or the golden age, was for me the '90s. This is almost like the formation of Wu-Tang, where it was the RZA, who was a little bit more, let me say, maybe business savvy or had more of a vision on how to bring things together. And like you said, you was a couple years older. What was the toughest thing in like getting everybody on the same page as far as the music? Now we already know that y'all was friends before then, but when you write out a manifesto, because this was in high school, not too many people was on this type of thing or was that forward thinking. How hard was it to keep like not only yourself in line, because we got here living life, but just the younger people under you?
It was way easier then because it's less responsibility in your life. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's way easier to convince your homeboy, yeah, we should do this. It's like, shit, I ain't got nothing else to do. You really don't got nothing else to do. You know what I mean? So it's easier to convince people to ride with that at that age. Especially, like I said, like they was younger, so some of them looked up to me. So it's like, he cool. Whatever he say, he trying to do, we probably on the same shit. So it's way easier then.
And I'm glad that you mentioned how easier it was then, because when life happened, that's when wheels get tested. Right. So we definitely visit that later on in this interview. What was the first song you recorded, and where did you record it at?
First song we recorded was with me. It was at my mom's crib. We was sneaking that studio.
Yeah.
It was me, Pac, Jeremy. Who else was on there? Can't tell you. DeCarlo. I think it was First National. I think that's the first song we did. It's called First National. It was about, typical like Wu-Tang shit. We talking about, I think, going in the bank, but everybody got their own verse or version.
So
of how they
it's
doing
cinematic.
It. Yeah, pretty much.
Do you have any recordings from back in those days?
Not that far back. I don't. I know somebody who does, but they won't let me get them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they won't let me get them.
And
that's cool though. You know what I mean? Sometimes I think about it, it's like I want to hear them tapes, but then it's like he holding on to them for a reason. You know what I mean?
We definitely need to bail Suge out of jail. Go get your mask. That's all right. But okay, so transition. I want to make a big jump from the teenage years until when you moved to Indianapolis and you got serious with it. Of course, people fall away during the journey. That's just the typical way that life goes.
Yeah.
So when you make the transition from Anderson to Indianapolis, and what year was this? Like 99?
That was 90, 99, 98, 99.
And this is like, as I alluded to about hip hop being in its prime in the 90s, we seeing the big transition to where it's even getting more commercial at this point. And this is when Master P is like at the peak, about to go down as far as his popularity.
Right.
Who was influencing you at this time? Not necessarily like you want to be with somebody, but if it was a blueprint or a model you was following, what blueprint or model was you following at this time?
Like you said, No Limit, Master P, Rockefeller, Bad Boy,
And
go ahead.
I just want to interject before I forget my thoughts. The people that you named were people who had the captain type status.
Yeah.
Was this what you were saying your blueprint on, like you the captain and stuff, and then you bring people with you? Was that what was influencing you about these?
Yeah, pretty much. Because I always felt like in a good situation with a captain with a team, it's just a team. You know what I mean? You gonna need a captain. You know what I mean? But to me, with like looking at the music, I'm humble and I know what I can do when I come do music. So I never look at nothing like it's a competition. I never look at somebody like they better or somebody like them better. Like I never look at the situation like that at all. So I'm comfortable with being, but I know somebody gotta be at the forefront. Yeah. If somebody ain't at the forefront, it's nothing. Yeah. Like it's nothing at all. So I always admired the ones that had captains and teams. You know what I mean?
People don't understand how important it is to be a part of a team, no matter how, how talented you are. Right. Jordan is arguably the greatest player ever, but Jordan wasn't as part of a team.
Right.
People would go to say, well, Tiger Woods, arguably the greatest golfer, where they say he played one-on-one. They don't understand there's people who prepped for him,
Right.
or got him ready, or helped him, or who, you know what I'm saying, helped him to achieve. It's all 30 of them. All 30 of them. But it's people who foster your growth that's behind the scenes. Like, I don't think there's nobody individually successful in this entire world. And it's I was gonna say crazy, but it's more remarkable that at a young age you had this ideology. Was there anything in your youth that helped, you know what I'm saying, that contributed to that thought?
My pops. I always felt like my pops, like the people that I grew up around was a lot of family, but a lot of them wasn't family. It was just people that I grew up around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And my pops, like, of course, you know, a lot of us don't have pops when we grew up, but I did. And the ones that didn't came around and was cool with being around. So it would be like, it wasn't even like, I never looked at him like he was in control of nothing. I just looked at him like he just had a personality to make people be like, oh, I'm cool with being with him, and he control what he do.
Yeah.
So if I'm in an uncontrollable environment, I want to go around somebody that can control the environment and be safe and be cool and shit like that. You know what I mean? So I always looked at him like wow, to me that was amazing. You know what I mean? To me that was amazing. Like I got stories of growing up, going places with my cousins and shit that my dad took us to. You know, and I tell people that it's like, damn. You know, then I look at my family like that's how we all stuck together for that long. You know what I mean? Bonds like that. So he probably was my main influence of that.
So
and that wasn't even music.
So just life.
Yeah, that was just life.
A lot of people don't know that a lot of life lessons lead into other lessons in life. You know what I'm saying? It's like when, if I want to use the example, we all grew up watching Karate Kid.
Yeah.
Mr. Miyagi, he teaches Daniel wax on, wax off, and Daniel's not understanding the concept that it's eventually teaching him how to fight.
Yeah.
This is how life is. It's crazy that we can pick these things up. And I was asking because some of these things form us to be leaders. Like some of us just born leaders. So we attach on to these lessons early. You know what I'm saying? Like some person who was probably in the same situation didn't take it the same way you did. But moving on, so you get down here. Did you like make any music relationships with anybody here from Indianapolis?
No, the biggest relationship I made before I moved here, and I already had the relationship, but like the biggest reason that was able to make me be able to have the confidence and everything I needed to move here was T-Lo. Like if I wasn't able to, like to me, even though we family, like to me he the first artist that like he the first artist. Even with Pat, like that's my brother, so I don't really look at him like that. I look at T-Lo like we family, but he older, he can do whatever he want.
Yeah.
He don't have to look, you know what I mean? He don't have to look at nothing. But like he was the first person I was like, shit, if I can get T-Lo to ride with what we doing, I can move to Nap and then we can start. You know what I mean? I feel like we can start something. So he was like the biggest like influence, or the biggest thing I had, the biggest trick I had up my sleeve as far as trying to do what I'm doing with music. You know, was him. So.
And just another sports analogy is like, say you LeBron James, you the best player in the league, but you know you need that Dwayne Wade or Chris Bosh come in to add your confidence. Like you've been in the game by yourself, you went to the championship, got spacked by the Spurs, so you know that you need a certain energy or a certain push to get you over the top. And before we move on from there, shout out to T-Lo.
Yeah.
Real dude. Lost him this past year, physically, but spiritually he'd be here forever as a parent. And this story, these kind of stories that make people live forever. Yeah. The influences that they have is stuff that resonates. So when you get here, was you still recording in a home studio?
Yeah. When I first moved here, we stayed out north in some apartments. Pac, like I said, him and T-Lo was like it. Like Pac made the beats, he had the production. Yeah. I still feel to this day it ain't no harder producers than him. You know what I mean? Like we moved out north, had an apartment, studio in the closet, you know, kitchen, wherever, bathroom, wherever we can, you know what I mean, hook it up at, and then that's kind of how we started.
when you release your first album, and shout out to Pac too. I'd be remiss if I didn't shout him out. Definitely not just your brother, but another phenomenal artist.
Yeah.
What was the first like coherent recordings you had as far as a music project? Like the first, was it group oriented or was it a solo album?
It was group. It was me and Pat. First one we put out was called Purple Haze. You know what I mean? Going off of what our last
Is that the
name
one with cherries and berries on it?
Yeah, that had cherries and berries on it.
Listen, Cherries and Berries is a low key classic.
Yeah.
It's a song. If you play that shit today, that shit still go. That motherfucker was hard.
Yeah.
But this was your first one,
Yeah,
first
that
project.
was our first project.
This was the disc maker days. Getting CDs pressed up.
Yeah, pressing up, put the sticker on top of it. You know what I mean? You can put your name on it.
When you first get when you got your first product back, and you look and you see yourself on the cover, you're in the CD case,
Yeah.
and now you have made that first step in being legit as far as the world sees it. How did it make you feel to get the album pressed up and you looking at it, you holding it, and at the time was you thinking like $1 million fucking dollars? You know what I'm saying? Like, what was your thoughts going into that?
I think just possibilities. Like every time we press a project up, to me it's a possibility of. It's just a possibility. You know what I mean? I don't know what I'm gonna get out of it. I feel like I'm gonna get out of it what I put into it plus more, but like I think it's a possibility. I never know who gonna hear it. I never know who gonna take what from it. I never know, you know, which hands it's gonna get into. Who been listening to it since it came out. Like that's the type of stuff. I don't even necessarily look at it as money. I know it's a possibility of money though. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it. Like it's you being an entrepreneur. To me, any business that you being an entrepreneur and you're gonna get money. But anybody that's an entrepreneur know it take the money to make it back. So it ain't like you just even if you make $1 million, you're gonna spend shit $900,000 to get the next piece of what you gonna you know what you're gonna do. So you don't necessarily look at it like that out of the way. Like so it's just a possibility.
And with this particular project, was it Purple Haze?
Purple Haze.
See, I'm so used to the familiarity. I want to go on PAs.
Yeah.
But with Purple Haze, what was, let me see, your favorite track on there?
Of course, Cherries and Berries. That was like the one that, and when everybody heard it, was like, "Dawg, that Cherries and Berries." That's when you start realizing, damn, people fucking with your music. You know what I mean? That's, but yeah, I think that was my favorite song. Trying to think what else we had on there.
What year was this? Like 05, maybe?
Yeah, I think 05. Yeah, maybe 04.
Yeah.
Yeah, 04.
And this is with you and Pac.
Yeah, me
If
and
you
Pac.
can think of like any other song you like when they come back to it.
Yeah.
But like right after this, what did you do? Like how? Because people don't understand how much the game has changed as far as getting music out there.
Mm-hmm.
How was you distributing your music?
Shit like you said, CD. You know what I mean? We
Hand
was
in
just
hand.
pressing up CDs, going to do shows. That was our merchandise when we performed. You know what I mean? Buy these CDs, buy these CDs. You know, that's at that time. I think that was about all we had. The thing we did, we just always went somewhere, so we was always able to get the music out.
And I'm gonna jump a little bit in timeline just to get perspective. We know that you see like in the entire year, 2 or 3 people selling CDs at gas stations. It's definitely not 04, 05 anymore.
Yeah.
What's the biggest difference for you as getting your music out? We know we're in the age of where technology is definitely taking over. It's the streams and download era. What's the biggest difference that you see as far as pressing up CDs or just throwing something up on iTunes or Spotify? Like as far as getting your name out there, or
I think the biggest difference between them two is the travel. Like you can
save gas money.
Yeah, you saving gas money by being on social media. You know what I mean? The thing with social media is, I guess the same thing with real life. Like everything ain't valid all the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you physically there, and I'm like, hey, I'm trying to sell you this, and it's like, oh, fuck the CD, let me hear you rap. Then I rap. You either gonna like it or not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the difference of promoting it online. That's probably the only difference. Because people can put a song out and it's decent, but that don't mean the rest of their songs is good. But we don't even get to that point.
Yeah.
We're only forced to get what we seeing at the moment. So I think that's the biggest difference.
Do you think that since that time to now that music or hip hop itself has become oversaturated? Because you just mentioned where people go for the one hit.
Yeah.
It's so easy for you to put an album out now. Well, not even albums, people don't do albums, they do singles.
Songs, yeah.
And to create a wave off of that and even get some notoriety or even signed if that's the avenue you choose.
Yeah.
In your personal opinion, do you feel like that it takes away from the pureness of hip hop?
I can't say it take away. I think it's just more. No, I can't say it take away because you can't take nothing from the person who can't afford to get in the studio. You know what I mean? Spend $80 to $100 an hour when they can spend $100 and go buy some software,
Right.
And do the shit that they without having to be nervous, without having to know who recording them.
Yeah.
So I don't think it take away from it at all. I think it was a big change. You know what I mean? From coming from the era of buying equipment and shit to going to the era of having software, like it's damn near amazing. The shit you would get on Pro Tools for $500, you would have spent $15,000 on hardware shit. You know what I mean? So I don't think it oversaturated the game. I think we still gotta take responsibility to be like, nah, this don't go, this don't go, this do go, this like, we just gotta be able to do that. But like I said, we can't take away the option of like just because I like something don't mean you gotta like it. Period.
Right.
That's the whole thing.
And, just going back in time just a bit. So you dropped the Purple Haze. After that, what was next?
After that, I think we did T-Lo project. Yeah, we had did T-Lo project. We hooked up with Mike Manson. He was from Chicago. They was out there where we lived at too. I don't know. After that, it was kind of like, all right, we did this. I'm always big on, all right, let me put this out to let you know this one I'm on. You know what I mean? I feel like that's kind of the format. Like this what we on, then we gonna go push this. And if you feel like, if you can take a liking in that, then I'm a dig and see what you want. And if you want something that I feel like we can build off of, then we go from there. So after that point, that's what it was. Like me and Pac put that out now. Pac producing T-Lo project. You know what I mean? T-Lo and Mike Manson doing songs together. Mike Manson bring another, like, it was just kind of like, all right, let's build up on what we got and see if we can.
For some reason, I always thought he was from Mary.
Who, Mike Manson?
Yeah.
Nah, he from Chicago, yeah. Except from, I think, Green Greens. Nah, Taylor Home, that's where he from. I think it's Southside or something.
When, at peak, how many artists have you had under the Rich Harvest umbrella? Just rough.
Maybe 13.
13?
Yeah, I think about 13.
How hard was it? Because what made me think about it, because we remember back to the Master P era, No Limit.
Mm-hmm.
You would look on the back of the CD covers and the covers, and they have a list of artists coming out.
At
least 10 of them never came, never. They're still coming soon.
Right.
How hard was it, or to devote time and attention to everybody? Because at the same time, you're not working with a Master P budget.
Right.
You working with more faith than anything, or desire. How hard was it to keep everybody satisfied or still motivated that their projects was coming out, and then everybody come out?
At the beginning, it ain't hard. At the beginning, it ain't hard.
That's what she said.
When I first started dealing with artists, the first thing I said was gonna be hard was dealing with that many people because I wasn't used to. I was only used to dealing with really Pac and T-Lo, which is family. So like the mindset is totally different. The mindset is totally different to where like I don't never have to be threatened. I don't never have to feel like somebody don't like me. Like it went from that mindset to dealing with a whole bunch of new people. You know what I mean? So at first I'm like that's gonna be the biggest problem, having to deal with some personalities and shit that I ain't used to deal with. You know what I mean? When it comes to doing music, the music we doing is specifically the music we doing is the same type, but the bond of the people that I'm doing it with is different. You know what I mean? So like when I first did that, I'm like, okay, it's gonna be hard to deal with the people. It ain't hard to deal with the artists if you pick the ones that got work ethic. You know what I mean? Most artists that's hungry to do music you can have them in the studio for 24 hours and they gonna keep creating shit. Like that's the thing with somebody that want it.
Shout out to Trouble.
Yeah, shout out to Trouble. Yes, he like 48 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, when somebody hungry like that, it ain't hard to get them to do the work. It's hard to deal with them after they've done the work and like
sit back waiting on money to fall.
Yeah, waiting on money to fall, waiting on what they should do next, waiting on. To me, not knowing like what you should do for yourself. Like I deal with artists, I help artists out. Like I said, I don't got no masterpiece budget. I can give you what I got. You know what I mean? So a lot of the shit left is gonna still be on you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's probably the hardest thing of dealing with an artist is taking away from the music and then to start going to that and then you like lose the bond of doing the shit. You know what I mean?
And how hard is that for you, knowing that? Because you self-talk basically on the recording.
Mm-hmm.
Like just everything is just natural talent, no school, no nothing.
Yeah.
When you are a self-starter like that, and then you invite somebody into the fold, and then they just, you know what I'm saying, they don't just seem to care as much as you do.
Yeah.
How did that make you feel the very first time you encountered it?
The very first time is disappointing. Because like you try to always deal with the people that you think is on the same shit that you on. You know what I mean? You always try to like pick that. Anytime, like I said, if I get cut from the team, or if I don't want to be on this team and I'm looking for a team, I'm looking for a team with people that's kind of on the same, that play the same way I play. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's disappointing when you see that at first, but you have to start looking at with the business and then being like, this gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So when did you move into a studio outside of your home? And this was the first one. This is the first spot. This is the spot.
This is the first one. I think 2009, 2010, maybe we moved into this spot. When we first moved in here, we just had this one room.
Yeah.
It was a photographer that had pretty much the whole building. He was just looking to, take some load off of him, so he let us rent this room out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was about 2009, 2010.
You know what? I remember the beginning, but I didn't remember that until you said it now. It jogged my memory and stuff. And for people who don't know, they wouldn't understand how it's expanded. It means so many things that go on. But when you first moved in here, how more legit did that make you feel? Like I can actually say I got an address that's outside my house for a studio. What was that? When you're a creator, somebody who's doing things on your own, the achievements are different.
Right.
Like people on the outside might not see that as being a big achievement, but you know the hard work you put in. So how rewarding was it for you to be in your own studio?
It's like 50-50. You know what I mean? If you live somewhere and you paying shit over there and then you get somewhere else, it's like, you know what I mean? You excited, like I was geek, but it's like, hey.
To the bills.
Yeah, it's like, it's like you geek, but it's like, all right, you can't play now. Now you gotta take all the extra shit out and, be responsible for not only you and your business and your name and all that go together. So it's like, it's like a 50-50. You proud of what you're doing, but you gotta keep working hard.
So once you got in here, what was the recording process like? Did you feel like you had to be at a certain time? Did you buckle down on who you was inviting around, or what was the biggest change from the house to the studio?
I think the biggest change was, like I said, infiltrating, like adding business to what you're doing. So like not only was we looking at ourselves like me, Pac and Tilo was a group. And then we was just now starting to get to the point where like, hey, we can still be the group, but maybe we should do solo shit too, or maybe we should do, these type of projects. But when we came here, like I said, now it's rent. So now it's like, you gotta start taking on clients. Yeah. And like the clients are not just people that we would look at to do music with. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's probably the biggest difference. The biggest thing is like recording somebody now and like, y'all ain't even on the same shit. Yeah. It's just the business of it. So that was probably the biggest thing that changed from the house to here.
And as far as just recording anything, you've heard different subject matters and different levels of talent.
Yeah.
Who was the most talented person who come in, not somebody that's already here, but somebody who came in and you was like, yeah, this motherfucker nice?
I wouldn't say the most talented person. I wouldn't say that. I'll probably say one of the most put together people was probably Weeds.
Yeah.
Like, I think he was one of the most, like, I got this in order, I got this in order, I got this in order, I just kind of need you to do this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was like one of the first people that I was like, and then I'm like, bet, I can do that. You know what I mean? So I think he probably was the first one that I felt like already had everything together as far as what he was doing.
It's a bar you got. It was actually on the song that we had together, and you said, "No new friends, only business partners."
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
How key is that into the way that the way you walk, the way you move today? Like, do you keep that adage? Like, cause I know that being in the studio, you come across a lot of people, and it's people who you think are friends, and then they end up doing something to make you like, damn, I gotta start watching people. How often do you encounter that as the owner and the head of Rich Harvest? Like, how trusting are you of people who come in?
I think it just depends. Like I said, it depends on when people. If somebody come in and they come in as a client, it's probably easier for me to trust them because I know they only came here for a service. You know what I mean? It's the ones that don't come in for that and like, you know, want to have conversations with you and want to pick your brain and want to like them is the ones that's probably the least trustworthy. You know what I mean? And it ain't because you don't want them to be. It's just like people feed off shit like that. There's certain people that feed off of somebody slacking in this. Let me, you know, go steal that shit or rob that shit or like shit like that. So you always gotta look out for that. And like I said, that's stuff that you learn, especially coming from, like I said, only dealing with family to now dealing with other people that I don't know nothing about. You know what I mean? So like the one way I try to cut that out is I don't really advertise.
Yeah.
Like I don't really advertise. Come to the studio or I'm looking for like I don't really everything is almost kind of off word of mouth.
Yeah.
Like if I know him and you told him to come and some shit to jump off, I know it's a trail. You know what I mean? It's a trail to get back to the source and who was who and stuff like that. So it's easier to trust the client than it is somebody that's just trying to, you know, find their way because at a certain point it's like I don't know if I want to devote the time, man, to trusting somebody.
Right.
Or wanting them to feel like they can trust me back. You know what I mean? It take longer to do that than to just do business.
When you get older, it's harder to build equity in relationships.
Exactly.
It's a lot of time that you don't have to waste.
Exactly.
So let's just go back to, okay, you did the group things. What was your first solo project? And first, let me get back. You Illy Octane now. What was your first rap name? Because I didn't remember you got the Illy Octane. What was your first name?
I remember having like Nasty, and I know that was like the probably worst.
Nasty.
The worst, yeah. Because for one, I didn't even like that. I just was trying to think of shit that went with my first initial of my name and shit. But I don't remember really having no other nicknames than Illy. I feel like I had that for a long time. I don't really remember being nothing else.
You went to Mac Ron?
Yeah, but that kind of went with Illy. It
Okay.
was like, if I told you the whole Illy, it was like Illy, what is it? Illy Rio de Janeiro. Like that's where the Mac Ron shit came from.
It was exotic.
It was like one long ass name and shit.
Yeah. So how did you just come down just to Illy Octane?
The Octane I got when I was like rapping, when I was freestyle rapping in Cleveland.
I thought it was Ohio.
Yeah. Ilyon Mac Ron. It was always Illy, you know what I mean? But it was Ilyon Mac Ron. But I changed it to Illy Octane after that. That was like as being always looking at, like you said, the team and the captain. That was like the first time I went somewhere and it was like, nah, it's you. Yeah. Like you ain't necessarily gotta like think of it that way. You dope enough you still dope enough to do your thing, you know what I mean? So that's why I always kept Octane. I'm like, oh, this shit got a ring to it.
Okay, so what was your first solo project?
My first real solo project that I put out was Humble versus Arrogant. The first project, I did one before that. I don't know if I ever had a name to it though. I feel like I just kind of had songs lined up.
How much of a difference or a challenge was to go solo? We know that a lot of MCs who go from a group to solo don't have that same fire.
Yeah.
They realize that they better on 16 instead of a whole 3 verses.
Right.
How hard was it, or was it hard at all for you to go solo and come up with these concepts?
I don't think it was hard as being an artist. I don't think it was. It's hard when you think back of how you used to doing it, and then it's like now you gotta do it different. You know what I mean? When I'm used to doing everything with Pac or Chilo, I never had to think about writing 2 or 3 verses. You know what I mean? You never really had to think about that. I ain't saying I was never capable of it, but I always wanted to hear their opinion on the shit that I made, and vice versa. We always kind of wondered, well, if I make this up, let me see what Illy gonna sound like. Let me see what Pac gonna sound like. So that was like the hardest thing. The actual doing it is not hard. You know what I mean? I think when I went solo is because it's like, oh, it's time to go solo. So I got excitement of just being a solo artist. You know what I mean? Seeing how people gonna vibe to just me being me without nobody else.
Do you like being a solo artist more than being in a group?
I don't think it's a more or less. I like people knowing me for what I do. You know what I mean? I think people I'm always got a tag with me. If it ain't Rich Harvest, if it wasn't Pac and Tilo, if it wasn't like, I always had some type of tag. You know what I mean? So I don't ever look at it like I'm just strictly a solo artist. Even if I'm a solo artist, but I'm gonna produce somebody else's project. You know what I mean? So to me, it's the feeling is the same. You know what I mean? The feeling is the same. But I like being a solo artist. Like I said, I'm confident about what I do. I think it's dope. So yeah, I want people to hear it all Illy if they can. You know what I mean?
As a solo artist, you not as dependent on other people to make things happen, or to, like, if you want to do something, you can just do it. And this past year, you made some nice moves, and maybe in the last couple of years, but just in my mind, you went to Texas and Cali. What did you do in Texas and California? How was those experiences?
I went to Texas for the South by Southwest. They have every year. It's like one of the biggest music conferences you can go to. I think we've been going there for 3 years. But this past year, I was just thinking, like, everywhere I go, I want to shoot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I feel like I don't want to be looked at as just being somebody that do shit locally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whether I got any type of deal or whatever, I'm branded.
Yeah.
So I don't want to do all my songs here and all my videos here and all my visions to be here. I wanted to. I always like to travel and do music and perform and shit like that. So I was like, this time I'm gonna shoot a video. You know what I mean? This time everywhere I go, I'm gonna try to shoot a video, so I can get the I don't know, just help build the brand. But that's how I felt when I went to Texas. Same thing with LA. I was like, I went there. I had a plug on the video. The dude that shot it was just graduating from film school, and he never did no music videos.
Who was this person?
His name Jake Bonner.
Shout out to Jake.
Yeah, he had never did no videos or nothing. So I'm like, shit. I be spurred a moment sporadic sometimes. I feel like without having that, then that's part of the creativity. I had already did the song.
And what song is this?
I did Hennessy in California.
Okay.
I had already did the song, and I never really thought where I was gonna do the video. I just remember talking to the dude that gave me the connect with the video dude, and I was like, shit, I'm just gonna go to Cali and shoot this. Just because, like I said, I don't want to be looked at as just being a local, somebody that just do shit locally. You know what I mean? So that, to me, that was like a big move. I feel like, and I feel like it worked. You know what I mean? I feel like it worked.
How was the experience out in Cali?
I love Cali.
Oh, yeah.
I love Cali, man. Like, I don't got nothing bad to say about it out of all the places I went to. Like, I don't know, I just love the vibe, the weather. Like, I don't know, I just love the vibe.
What part of Cali was you in?
Los Angeles.
That's what's up. Well, did you get to interact with any other music people there? Like, when they see you shooting a video, like, what was the reaction? I mean, LA down there, Hollywood type, so they used to this certain shit. It's not like Indiana, but
the first time I went, I don't think I really interacted with nobody that I met except for the video dude, and he do music.
Yeah.
I was the only person. As a matter of fact, he brought his girlfriend and she did music too. Other than him, I didn't, because I kind of strictly went for the video. I didn't really go the first time when I shot Hennessy to really like do a lot in the city. I think I went to, average shit. You go to the mall, you see the
chicken and waffles.
Yeah, chicken and waffles, shit like that. And then we shot the video. We shot the video for almost a day and a half. So I didn't really get enough time to go out and try to just meet people. The second time I went, I did. It was like, we walked around. We went to the mural. We stayed, just chilled out and met people. Not as much as like meet somebody and go to the studio, but just just meet people from the neighborhood and stuff like that.
And this is when you shot the song "Going Back to Cali."
Mm-hmm.
Your first one was Hennessy. What was the when you hear Hennessy, you get the what led you to
doing it?
Yeah.
One of my friends was like, was kind of just watching what I was doing with music and seeing what my talent was, and was like, you kind of need something that just make people listen to you without the thought of nothing else. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, you like Hennessy? Yeah. Well, once you make a song about that, a lot of people like Hennessy.
Yeah.
So I was like, bet I can make a song about that. And but like one thing with me, I gotta love the beat and want to rap. You know what I mean? I don't care what the title is. Like I found that beat and I'm like, damn, listening to it. Wrote a whole storyline about it. I didn't want to make it cliche like everybody drink Hennessy. You know what I mean? No shit like that. So
shit.
Yeah. So I kind of like made a storyline of like what I'll be on when I drink Hennessy. And I don't know, people just kind of grabbed onto it.
And the second one was Going Back to Cali. We've heard two other phenomenal artists, historically all-time great artists, have songs with the same title.
Yeah.
First with LL, and then with the late great Notorious Big.
Yeah.
How confident were you in following that up with those two? Like, you the charm, basically. There's probably been other people made it, but just couldn't mind it. People I know. What inspired you to use that title? Was it for
I felt how I thought they probably felt when they came to Cali for the first time. I was like, I just kind of felt like that. And when I went to do the Hennessy, I was like, damn, I should do Going Back to Cali. I kind of feel like that. You know what I mean? So I was like, I said, when I go back the next time, I'm gonna do that. You know what I mean? Like I said, I got confidence. I know what I can do when it comes to music. So I wasn't worried about nobody like, oh, you didn't do this or you should have did this. I just that's how I felt. You know what I mean? So I felt like if it was gonna be, I used the same video dude from Hennessy. I liked his vision, so I'm like, if it's anything similar to that, and I do the song like how I want. I wanted to have fun. I only did one verse. And I usually hardly don't ever do nothing like that. You know what I mean? I only did one verse. I'm like, I want to go out here and just have fun and show people I can have fun and still do music and still live here and still do it. You know what I mean? Do what I'm trying to do. So
you just mentioned confidence, and that's an important thing to have, confidence, especially when you're being an entrepreneur. You've also told me off record, it may have been on a conceited nobody, excuse me, that you were shy.
Yeah.
A lot of people wouldn't get that. How easy is it for you to just, when you hit that stage, to turn off the shyness, or what helps you turn it off?
Yeah, he probably right. Hennessy does help. But I don't know, I'm thinking about the people, thinking about who said what about my music, you know what I mean? Like that was one of the things that helped me break out of even being shy, was just doing music, let people hear it, and then they like, damn, that shit dope. So it's like, wanting to be an entrepreneur with what I do, it's like, damn, you either gonna be shy or you gonna do what the fuck you trying to do. So I picked not being shy, you know what I mean? I picked that. I picked like, just be confident about what you doing. So I feel like I can't be beat at that.
Once you get off that stage, do that shyness just come right back? Like,
you go back
because people be all in your face and they think they got a piece of you on that stage, where they think they know you and shit. Like, he like to turn up.
Right.
I'm gonna drink his Hennessy.
Let me go over there. See if I can hit his body.
So how does that feel? Like when you know that you talented, Does it make you feel a way, like when people, like even though you know it, when people gather around you and start talking to you, do it make you feel uncomfortable? And I mean,
Yeah, it does to a sense. Like it depends on what it is. Like what's the conversation of your talent? When it's like, are you talented, and it's just an admiration thing, and it don't got nothing to do with business, or then it's like, okay, I can accept that. But when it's like, oh, you dope, this, that, and the third, and this, and you know the ending is gonna be like, when you gonna be able to get me in there? You know what I mean? Like you gotta, it go back to the business and the trust fund, like you said. You gotta, now it goes to who gonna want to just, let me get this. It go back to like who just genuine and who looking for something. So yeah, I don't really take it. I've learned to not just be geeked up off of what somebody say. You know what I mean? Because I don't know where it's coming from.
Being as confident as you are and talented, what motivates you today? We always talk about how hip hop is probably one of the most youngest music genres out here. That's a claim that's people latch on to. It's by far the most popular music genre. Hip hop isn't even 50 years old. We grew up when we would see somebody who was 30 and we call her old. So that's about he too old to be rapping.
Yeah.
Where we know that hip hop is the only music that dates people. Any other genre of music, you can just keep going. What motivates you to keep going right now at this point?
I mean, I still just love to do it. I feel like I was able to create a consistency to make me feel like, why not? You know what I mean? It ain't nothing that made me be like, oh, I ain't doing music no more. So I don't really have that feeling. I just still had a feeling of trying to grow and trying to climb higher. You know what I mean? I stay here and live here because I felt like I wanted to have something to do with the first hip hop artists that come out of Indiana.
Yeah.
Like that was my main reason for staying, and I wanted to have a studio. You know what I mean? So that was the main reason I stayed in Indiana and stayed in Indianapolis. And I don't feel like I should really change that. You know what I mean? The only thing that can make me change that, I don't think it's nothing that can make me change. It might be some shit that can make me move around a little more. You know what I mean? Of course, if the right opportunity presents itself, but I haven't really changed the mission of why I'm here. So, and I haven't had nothing to hinder me from doing it. So to me, it's still the same.
I think the person who defies the odds of being too old, in my opinion, is Jay-Z.
Yeah.
And two of the reasons why I think that he's able to do that is one, the obvious talent.
Yeah.
And two, is his ability to hear and adapt. Like he don't sound dated, like he's still talking about trues and vows or fucking gold rims. Like he's progressed with his age. How important is it to you to rap? Because your music always makes sense. And what I mean by that is something that's relatable by people our age and even people younger and understand what you're saying. It's the perfect dynamic that you have to maintain legitimacy.
Yeah.
How do you, when you record, do you go into it thinking like, I have to, like you don't want to talk about turned up shit, shooting outs?
Yeah.
How important is it for you to rap to your demographic?
I just feel like, I don't know, I think just making good choices of, you know, what you choose to get on. Like having my own studio gives me a choice of, you know what I mean, songs or artists or, so I just try to make a good choice of what I still would, what I feel like would still represent me, even with me moving into a different era of music, you know what I mean? I feel like that part don't change, and then I'm able to do my own. I still got a process that I feel like is a dope process for me. So I don't necessarily have to reach out to nobody young to make me valid. They'll reach up, they'll be like, shit, Illy, I want to do a song with you know what I mean? So it's like I'm able to decipher which moves I should make to keep me consistent. Like it's companies that have been around for years, like, and they still doing what they do. To me, when anybody say something about age, it's like why? I didn't talk to young niggas. I never cared how old they were. You know what I mean? So if somebody says something about my age, they trying to use it to bring me down or something like that. I ain't down about nothing. So
and I can bear witness to what you said because we talk about off air. Shout out to Weez, the song that you got with him on this track. that's an instance where somebody who's older and shit, right, and it meshes. And then the young boy, I can't remember his name, man, the young white dude.
Jeffy.
You gotta talk to Jeffy. You gotta talk with him and shit. And he younger. I mean, it just shows so much, you know what I'm saying, adjustment, because he's a younger white dude.
Yeah.
And when you get on the track, it's still ill.
Right.
It's not like you had to adjust and shit.
I didn't change.
You can still see the you know what I'm saying, the difference in age and stuff. Like, it didn't like you got on there and turned up with him.
Right.
Like, you didn't get on the song with fucking Busta Rhymes and start hollering and shit.
Right.
So, do you think that's one of your greatest abilities and stuff, to just be you?
Yeah. I feel like I said, I don't really ask nobody to make me feel like I'm me. I feel like I put myself in a good position to where I'm gonna be able to get people to, like I said, be like, oh, I want to do a song with him, or I want to do that. Like, even like with him, like, he young, you know what I mean? He's super young.
Yeah.
What made him want to do any type of music with me is because he aspired to be in the same type of role. So it's like, if I can look up to him to be in this role, and it's like, oh, he do me, like, I ain't even tell him I do music. He found out, he heard and watched and was like, oh shit, I'm gonna do a song with you, you know what I mean? So I don't never have to inquire to ask nobody to make me valid. I feel like if I like I said, keep having myself around the same type of, I always try to keep myself around people that I feel like if it's time to build something, then it's like, hey, can you do that thing that you usually do, and they gonna ask me to do that thing
I like.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You look for people to try to deal with like that. So I don't never have to ask.
Okay. So with the New Year here, do you have any concrete plans for 2020? Any artists that you look forward to working with that you haven't worked with?
No.
That's
No.
fantastic answer.
Yeah, I just look forward to being in Forward Progress. I don't really, it ain't nobody that I'm like, if I can get a song with them, or like, I don't think like that. I feel like if I can just keep doing what I'm doing, and like I said, be around other people that's on the same thing, then everything else gonna fall into play.
So do you have anything lined up for 2020? New music shows or
all that?
Trips?
New music shows. I'm a bad promoter. I'm like
terrible
worker.
You just said all that.
So my new thing for 2020 is to hire a promoter. Shit, that's probably the biggest thing I need, that, you know, that's out of my hands. But other than that, like I said, it's just to keep moving forward. Like, I'm proud of what's been going on. I'm doing an interview. I'm proud of what's going on though, so I ain't trying to change that.
Okay, so what was the last project you dropped?
Last one I dropped was the Illy. I Don't Live Like Y'all.
You know, live like y'all. And can you tell people where they can find that at?
Everything. Tidal, Apple Music, Google Play, Audio Mac. Anything you can stream, Spotify. Anything you can stream music on.
Anything you stream on, you can find Illy Octane. You can catch out to Going Back to Cali Hennessy and other videos. What's your YouTube?
Illy Octane. Illy Octane. Yeah, that's it. Illy Octane.
Illy, two Illys. Phenomenal rapper, phenomenal friend, a born leader. You definitely want to vibe with him, get in touch with what he got going on. It's always a pleasure to sit down with my brother and chop it up. It's crazy because, like I tell people, we grew up together.
Yeah.
But it's still always a good conversation. Like, I can sit here and I can, like, learn things that I never knew. I never knew that the first verse that you remember that. It's crazy that you remember the whole verse of that shit. You need to record it.
Yeah, I don't be remembering shit, but I can remember that. Like,
and we definitely gonna go get the masters.
Yeah.
Again, everybody, thanks for kicking it with us. It's a pleasure to come to the Rich Harvest Studios and kick it with my man, Illy, Mac Ron, Doja, Bosnia, Octane, the dopest rapper I know. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, man.
And I want to give a shout out to Juvie for recording this. That's Renaissance Juvie. He handled all the shit.
Yep. IllyOctane.com, man. Check out everything. I don't want to say all the links. Just go to that. IllyOctane.com. Shout out to you for having me, though, bro.
The Conceited Nobody. Every Tuesday at 8 p.m.